Hi, I'm Scotty.
And I'm Jordan.
Welcome to our YouTube channel. Because I actually thought I thought you were going to be saying it at the same time as me. That's why.
I figured that if we said it at the same time, then we would get jumbled up with the words.
Okay, it'll be a bit too robotic. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so tell them a bit about yourself first.
Okay, my name is Scotty, if you haven't heard before, which I'm sure you have. I am 28 years old. I pretty much born and raised in Belita. It's this beautiful ocean town. And about 5 years ago, I did a bit of international traveling, living. I lived at Club Med and worked as a Club Med employee for about a year. And since then, I've come back and I've been a youth pastor for the last 5 years or so. I'm very, very passionate about Jesus. Since he saved me and changed my life, I've always wanted to do what pleases him. And my experience in Malaysia was consolidating that, bringing me that close to him. So ever since then, that's what I've been wanting to do. Just interact with youth and just spread the knowledge of Jesus and this amazing personality, this amazing person, and I want everybody to know about him because of what he's done for me.
And that's also a huge reason why we're starting this YouTube channel, so we can talk about our experiences with God. Just how great he is and how we have experienced him, and hopefully be encouraging to some of you.
And we're hoping that God will work through the both of us in the ways that only he can, so that people out there can feel him in different ways and maybe just feel part of his church. Because during this time in lockdown and stuff, everybody, I know I felt like that a couple of days ago, where you feel like you long to be connected with God's family, the church. So maybe this can be a way of making people feel more together during this time as well. And a bit of humor along the way too, because I can't.
Yeah, not all our content is going to be serious about religion and stuff like that. We'll have some fun challenge videos and Q&As and a whole bunch of different videos, but that is also one of the main reasons that we are starting this channel.
What can they expect from you?
Okay, so I am Jordan. I am 22 years old. And I am studying to be a teacher. I'm in my third year, so my second to last year. And I've been a youth leader. I love horse riding, I love baking, I love writing
and people.
Singing, people.
Yeah, she loves people. Yeah, we're quite a good match, because she's got a very good sense of humor, and I tend to be very clownish. So if I break out into an accent or something, just know that it's spur of the moment. It's not planned or anything. So look forward to getting to know you guys, and
comment down below if there's any videos that you want us to do in particular,
maybe
or
topics,
anything like that. And then some fun facts about us. So we'll just mention a few fun facts just so you guys can get to know us a little bit better. So what is your favorite recent movie?
Favorite recent movie? It's a tough one, eh?
It had to have come out this year or last year.
Where? Now I feel put on the spot now, because I'm not all that current. I'm one of those people that likes going back and watching old movies and stuff. Probably.
Okay, well then say one of your old favorites and then a new favorite.
Okay, the more recent favorite of mine is Paul the Apostle, which is all about Paul, and who was one of the writers of the New Testament. I really was inspired watching him because.
Is that recent?
I think in the last few years, I don't know. I'm just assuming. Well, when I say recent, to the last 2 or 3 years, I watched it. It was probably like,
Oh, okay, fair enough.
yeah,
Okay, well,
maybe.
my really recent favorite movie is I Still Believe.
I knew you were gonna say that. Yo, it's a good movie.
That was an easy answer.
Yeah, not easy to watch though, but a very good
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, very good movie.
Yeah.
If you ever want to watch a movie that's inspirational but you don't mind crying, watch I Still Believe.
Yeah. And you don't mind those ones where it lifts you up and then drops you and then lifts you and then drops you, but then ultimately right at the end lifts you up again and gives you faith.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an amazing movie.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
How did we meet? That's a good question.
Yeah, so like that ties in for me personally. I think God definitely brought us together on our own paths, you know, individually. You know, the first time I met Jordan, I did like her, but I had no idea. I had no idea that she was going to be the one, you know, and I know that for certain because before I met her, I'd made this thing with God, and I said, God, I don't want to date anyone else. I only want the person that you have for me. Kind of like Adam and Eve. I noticed that Adam and Eve never went and, you know, tried to find the one or anything. It's like they just happened. Adam woke up and then Eve was there. And then he says, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. It's like Adam knew in his heart that Eve was the one. And I believed that God would have that same person for me and give me that same conviction. That's exactly what he did with me. When I, you know, but I met Jordan, and then sometime afterwards, that's when I had started getting confirmations that it was her. You know, a helpful, if there's anyone out there that's also has that same track of mind as I had, the expression that I heard is, when you know, you know. But if you don't know, in other words, if you don't know if it's her, it's not it. In other words, God makes it so certain for you. If you leave it up to him, you'll know. You'll know. And then as time goes on
Maybe
further,
not straight away.
not straight away. I didn't know straight away, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. He starts to bring it to your mind and starts to give you conviction, and those convictions get stronger and stronger and stronger. Whereas beforehand, my convictions got weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. Not all the other people that I met previously were all very, very nice people. I'm just talking about who God had for me, and that's Jordan.
And
now.
I think how we also knew that it was God was, well, I prayed about it before we actually started dating. It was like quite a long process, quite an emotional process, but I prayed a lot about it, so did Scott.
Yeah.
And we also got a lot of confirmation from other people. Some people that we didn't really know, some people that we did know, some people that had met us individually but never together,
Yeah.
that were friends with Scott and with me, but we'd never actually met yet, who were saying, oh my word, you need to meet Scott, and
Yeah.
saying to Scott, oh, you need to meet Jordan.
Yeah.
So there was like a lot of confirmation, which was really cool.
And in some of the videos coming later, I can actually show you something that I wrote in my prayer diary, where it's I said to God, let the person that you've chosen for me say this. And it's actually quite amazing, because what I wrote there and what the kind of things Jordan has said to me in the process of us being together is exactly pretty much what I asked my mate to say, you know. So I'll show it in the next few videos. You'll see that diary entry and I'll explain it, and you'll be able to see the main confirmation that I asked for. I feel I've definitely got. The other thing is also, we never asked anyone whether about the other person. There was no, they were coming to us and saying, you know, whatever. We never asked someone and said, I didn't go to like one of my friends and say, oh, but what do you think of her? Eh? No, it was none of that. Those confirmations were spontaneous. They were like, they came from people. We never asked them. They just said it, you know.
Yeah, like some people that Scott was helping with ministry would come up to him, and they would see us together and then come up and say, oh my goodness, that is like, that's your match, that's who God's made for you.
Yeah.
which is like incredible. I've never had that happen in my life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really cool.
I also feel like we didn't get down to the exact place where we met each other. So like
It's ironic.
it is it is we've been beating around the bush, but by accident. Yeah. So
We met by accident.
I do
essentially.
I do a lot of I basically, and like a lot of other people, I have this thing where I go where God calls me. I'll get a call. God knows how to do it. He'll tell me that he wants me to go to a particular place. And I'll listen, and because I want to be obedient and I want to serve him in every way that I can, I'll go there. Sometimes it's nightclubs, sometimes it's other places, and it's really quite spectacular because I'll go to these places with the pure trust that I know God's called me there, and I'll end up with getting into these conversations with people, and it goes to God very quickly. That's how I know. Okay, in that scenario, God called me here for that, and I was out. I felt God put on my heart that he really wanted me to go to Connors in Durban North, and
Which is for those of you who are overseas watching this video, it's like a bar come restaurant
karaoke
place.
Yeah. And I had been going there. I was also going there to meet some friends of mine too, so I was also there was also that there, and
and I came with a friend of mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up meeting each other. But then Jordan had to go later on that night, not too late into the night. She actually had to leave pretty early. I was quite disappointed because I thought she was a cool person to talk to. And then one thing led into another, and the next few weeks we just started bumping into each other again and again and again and again and again. We just ended up in the same circumstances again. It wasn't something that we manufactured and made together. It was a totally circumstantial thing.
Yeah.
I knew Jordan and I got along, as people. I knew that, but I didn't know if there was something happening on her side romantically. I knew, I knew I liked her in that way,
Well, like it wasn't initially for me.
Yeah, it wasn't
which we know about.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, this is where it comes back to, like, I had to pray about whether Scott was the one, because I didn't want to pursue a relationship, especially if Scott, really, really liked me. I don't want to hurt his, break his heart or hurt him or anything like that. So I made sure, I prayed about it a lot.
Yeah.
I chatted to him, chatted to the other person who I thought God had for me at the time, and it just somehow just all came together.
Yeah, it came together, absolutely it did. But my thing is also, this is the thing too, I'd completely submitted the whole issue of God choosing the person for me to be with. I mean, I know there'll be people out there that don't agree with me in this way of doing it, but I was tired of bumping my head into the wall trying to somehow choose who this person is out of how many billions of people there are in the world. I was like, there's no ways I'll get this choice right. God knows more than me, and I'm going to trust him and wait for him. And that's kind of how it happened too. So even though I felt something for Jordan, I was just like, I'm not going to touch anything. I'm like, I don't want to put my fingers in there and then I mess it all up. I'm like, God, Adam and Eve, Adam woke up and he saw Eve and he knew it was Eve. There was no girls will say, I'm going to find Mr. Right. There was nothing from my side. I wasn't like, I need to go find my girl, eh? No ways. And even when I felt it for her, I was like, that's not enough, because you can feel something for lots of people. But that doesn't mean that that's your person, It doesn't mean that at all. Yeah, so I'm just so glad that she is my person, and it was worth waiting for. I don't care how long you have to wait. It's always worth it waiting.
Yeah. And they always say, and it's so true, they always say the person that you are supposed to be with comes when you're not looking. I was at a place where I had past relationships, and I'd had heartbreak, and I've had all of that. And you know, there were times where I was single and I was very unhappy. Like, I didn't want to be single, because in my like younger high school years I was in a long-term relationship, and it was difficult not being in a relationship after being in a very long relationship. So there were times where I was very unhappy being single. But then when I met Scott, it was one of the first times in my life where I was actually genuinely happy being single, and I was not looking for anybody. Whereas there were times where I was, and I either came to the wrong people, or you know, got mixed up with the wrong person that wasn't the one that I was supposed to be with. But when I met Scott, it was very much like I was not looking for anyone.
Yeah. No, I was also in a place where, at one stage, where I didn't feel like good enough unless I was with a girl. I had a girlfriend or something, because then that made me feel like I had value. Meanwhile, no person, it doesn't matter who they are, whatever the case may be, that place in your heart where that need for wanting to feel good enough, no one but Jesus can fill that. Nobody. So like before Jordan and I met, and while I was in this waiting process, I also said, I was like, Jesus, I want to be fully in love with you. Like, I want that part of me to be filled with you. I want to be just me and you. I want to get, and I did. I got to the point where I was like, God, even if I spend the rest of my life on my own, I want to be at the place where I'm okay with that. And it's funny, God did get me to that place where I was like, I'm fine, you know, like, I'm okay. I'm okay if, God, I'm quite happy to be just me and you, because Jesus is amazing, and he knows that that's how I feel about him. And sometime after that, that's when the thing with Jordan and I happened, you know. And it's for a purpose, definitely. Yeah, some of the things, tell them some of the things that have happened with you and I out.
Just one,
for gospel, yeah.
Just one purpose is that I have, I've always really like struggled with my faith quite a bit. But then when I met Scott, I think I've never felt so close to God than when Scott and I got together, because he really, like God, for a relationship, God intends for you to help each other with your faith. You know, he wants your person to encourage you, and you know, to how do I say it?
To become like one flesh. I mean, we're not married, and we definitely aren't involved in anything to do with a relationship physically. Nothing. But
waiting till marriage.
Yes, exactly, and we have both done that. But even now, before the whole marriage thing has happened, that sense of becoming one, I feel, has definitely become. We're feeling it on an emotional level.
Yeah.
We definitely are, and that's part of what God is doing. He, you know, before I met Jordan and I was busy waiting, and it's hard. It is hard to wait, like I said, but it is worth it. And while I was waiting, I was out with a friend of mine. We were just at a nearby shopping center, and we actually worked nearby there, and we went and got some lunch. And while I was waiting there, you know, I was sitting there and I was talking to him, and I was like talking about the fact that I was waiting and stuff. And then it was just so amazing. A guy who had led another children's ministry that I was a part of at a nearby Anglican church, he was there, and he wasn't even part of our conversation. He was sitting on the other side of the big get-together restaurant type thing, and I saw him and he saw me, and he called me over, and I went to him, and it was amazing. He just put his hands on me. I said, I want to pray for you. So I was like, okay, and I put my head down and I prayed for him. The first couple of things he prayed for was amazing, and it's stuff that I needed. And when we finished praying, he looked at me and he said, I just want to tell you right now that this time that you're going through of waiting is not time wasted. God is healing stuff in your heart, and he's also healing stuff in your mate's heart. And he said, right now, I'm telling you, if you two came together right now at this time, you would fight like cats and dogs. I'll never forget that. And I believed him. And sometime after that, that's when, you know, I started to realize, first of all, Jordan came into my life kind of like a Navy SEAL, like under the radar, like I didn't know it was her. And then sometime after that, God started showing me this is the person, you know. So it also has to do with that. Some of you might have, you as a guy might have gone through some stuff as, you know, growing up that has put a lot of hurt on you, you know, and your future wife might have also gone through similar stuff. So God, what I've realized from our example, God also prepares your heart and prepares her heart so that when you come together, you're ready for each other. Because if you're not, you'll end up hurting each other without even wanting to.
Yeah.
Because you're two broken people at that time. And if you come together, it's like a big clash, you know. But if he heals this person and he heals the other person, they come together and they're ready. So that, I mean, God works in his own ways, in his own incredible ways. But from our example, that's what I definitely think he was doing with both of us.
Yeah. So I see that we've hit the 20-minute mark.
Yeah.
So I don't want this video to be too long. We will continue. If you want us to carry on talking about a topic that's related to this or continue this conversation, then let us know in the comments below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed our video, our introduction video.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you in our next video.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.